When I was a little boy, many years ago, our older relatives would say things like around New Year's time that this is a dangerous time. We used to hear things like, be careful because a lot of people die on that night and just to watch out. Now, in my mother's time, her father would tell them that in the nighttime, there's things that come out because this is their time. So we are supposed to stay out of the way of these things because when these things come out, that we shouldn't be out because we could come into a contact or something, and it might not be good. It could be disastrous. So the saying was to be inside the home. Don't go out once the sun goes down because it's a time for other things. And these things are walking around and doing whatever they do. And if we happen to see it, we might misunderstand what we're seeing. And we might react in a way that is not appropriate. And so this could lead to something that could be harmful for ourselves. Because if we come into this or we see something strange and we don't understand it, it might influence us to do something that could be very harmful. It could be very harmful to ourselves. It could be harmful to others. So this is the reason why we are not supposed to be outside when the sun is down. That's what my mother said. Her father told her that, or her grandparents told her that the nighttime there's other things that come out, and a lot of people misunderstand that. People in duality have the tendency to categorize everything as good versus evil. And so with that kind of mentality, and they encounter one of these things, because they are dualistic, their first impulse is going to be that this is an evil thing. Yeah, that what they're encountering is evil. And because of that, they're going to judge it. That's why I said their response will be inappropriate. And then it could cause something unnecessary to happen. That's what happens though, yeah, when people are dualistic. They don't understand and they think they know everything and therefore they judge everything, and the next thing you know, they're making a mistake. So it's very important to try to not see this as a dualistic thing, yeah? To try not to see this as good versus evil. If you really want to know more about these kind of things, it's important that you don't judge anything. That means don't be dualistic. Then you can understand more about these things that in the nighttime is their time. And when you are not dualistic, you will understand that they are not bad things. They are not evil things. It's just that this is their time. Our time is when the sun is out. Yeah, that is our time. But when the sun goes down, then it's the time for other things. And that's just how it is, because when you see it like that, you have more of a respect for nature. You have more respect for everything around you, and you realize that the earth is not just for humans to use, yeah, that it's also for other things too. And even the animals, they have their time as well. And just because we can't see something, that does not mean it doesn't exist. Like, for example, visualization, this concept of taking time every day to visualize what you would like your future to be and enjoy it for a few minutes, like you already have it, and then come back to the present moment. And that process does something to you. It gives you inspiration to achieve that. What may happen may actually be better than what you visualize. So, this visualization process, what it's doing is it's going into the unknown, and it is using hope, and this is actually influencing the future. So even though you don't have an absolute control over it, you can still play a role in influencing it. That means it's something there. You don't see it, but this visualization is influencing it. That's why it's powerful. Same thing for prayer. Same thing for meditation. When you pray and meditate, you can think of people that you don't know and just visualize them and send them helpful energy, healing energy. You can do that. And it does go out to people who need it because you're setting the pattern. Yeah, you're creating the image of somebody who needs help. You don't know them. You just create the image. That's all you do. Create the image in your mind, whether it's a person, a family, or whatever, and you visualize them receiving help. And this sets out an energy, and it's going to find a situation that matches what you visualized. See? You don't see it, but it works. That's what I mean. And it's things like that they really do exist. And so we have to think of them, yeah, and just be mindful of them. And for some of these things, their time is in the night. Be aware of that and stay out of their way. They stay out of our way during the daytime. So we should honor them and do the same for them during the nighttime. See, this was an old understanding long time ago, but Indians became Christians. And well, part of that process, we lost this way of thinking. And so now people go out at night, and if you encounter something like this, see, people don't have this knowledge anymore, so they judge this as evil. And then they might react to it in a disrespectful way, thereby causing harm to themselves. And usually on New Year's Eve, it's a Western holiday. It's not a native holiday. But because people are out drinking and doing things that they normally wouldn't do, they're opening themselves up to run into something from that unseen. And that's why they say a lot of people die on New Year's Eve, because they run into something they don't understand, but they judge it as evil, and then they react accordingly, and then next thing you know, they end up in a car wreck or something else. Our parents and our grandparents, they would tell us that strange things happen on New Year's Eve because of another world that is right here in front of our eyes, but we don't see it. We were taught that the nighttime is a time for other people that we don't see, and that we stay out of their time and they stay out of our time. There's this mutual understanding. The day for us is seen as having 4 parts. The 24-hour cycle is for us is seen as having 4 parts. There's the daytime when you see the sun, and when the sun sets, but you still see the sunlight in the sky, the dusk. Yeah, that is the second time, and that is a time of change. This is the time to give thanks and to send thoughts and feelings and meditations and prayers to those who belong to the night. Yeah. And then the night time is the third time. And then we're supposed to be inside. And then when the night is ending and we start to see the sun's rays on the eastern horizon, we don't see the sun yet, but we see the red in the sky. This is the fourth time. And that's the second special time. Yeah, it's during that time we give thanks again for our sleep, and we thank the night people for preparing this place so that we can do our thing during the day. This is our really old custom that nobody practices anymore, which is really unfortunate. These are things we did every day. We acknowledge this every morning, every evening. We make these acknowledgments in our prayers at dusk and dawn. This is how we show honor to those who use the earth during the nighttime. Yeah? Because this is for everybody. The earth is not just for us humans. It's for others too. And some of these others, we can't see them, yeah, but they are there. And they have their own communication. And when we know about this, it's not a scary thing. Yeah, it is a good thing. It's a sacred thing. But unfortunately, this kind of knowledge was labeled as evil by the Christians when Christianity came to the reservation. So now today, most people don't know about this. So when they're out in the nighttime and they might accidentally encounter one of these night people, they might judge it as evil and then to try to do something, to get rid of it, which is disrespectful, yeah? But see, that's what happens when you believe in good versus evil. Yeah, that you have this tendency to judge things that are not even evil, but you judge them as evil, and this could lead to things that may not be too conducive. Yeah. So, this is why I say these things. Yeah, because what I'm saying is coming from very old Lakota star knowledge concepts. But these night people, they're out every night. Yeah, they're out every night, just like we are out every day. So it's not that they're just focused on New Year's Eve. No. They're out every night. But this New Year's Eve holiday puts a large number of people out in the nighttime too that normally are not out at night. Yeah. So that's why there's a tendency that people may run into them more on this night because there's more people out celebrating. And this is why people get drunk. And if they have an encounter with one of these people, like I said, they don't understand it because they don't know about it. And the first tendency, because they're dualistic, their first tendency to say is, oh my God, this is evil. Where's my Bible? Yeah, let's get the exorcist over here and all that kind of jazz. And then they end up doing something harmful, which is only going to hurt themselves. Yeah, that's unfortunate because it's totally unnecessary. So that's why we were told, be careful on this night because most people are going out, even if there's no alcohol involved, and you're going to a party just to have good food and good times, maybe play games or dance or whatever, and it's always safe to go in numbers and just be mindful and don't judge things as good versus evil. Just because you don't understand it does not mean it is bad. Yeah, it does not mean it is evil. I was doing a seminar in Switzerland, near Lucerne, Switzerland. It's a very beautiful area. I don't know what part of Switzerland is not beautiful. I mean, everywhere you go in that country is beautiful. Yeah, it's just a very, very pretty country. I usually start about 10 o'clock in the morning, and we have a lunch break, and then we go into 5 o'clock in the afternoon. It's usually 5 hours every day with breaks. Anyway, the host was a really nice lady, and the host arranged for the whole group to take a walk in the evening, to go up into the mountains and make a campfire and just sing songs, roast marshmallows, and drink hot chocolate. It was really nice. That's a really cool idea. So the whole idea is that we walked there, and there were some girls that had horses, and they brought the horses. So when we're done, anybody who wants to, you can ride back. So when we were done with singing songs, telling stories, and stuff like that, we would walk on this road. And these girls that had horses, you could ride it. If you want to ride a horse, you can ride the horse. They're really friendly horses. So that was really nice, yeah? It was kind of an adventure because it's pitch black. There's no moonlight. So it's really, really interesting. You know how it is when it's completely dark. You still can see things, yeah? You can see movement, shadows, and things like that. So you knew where the trees were, you knew where the road was. It wasn't completely pitch black, and it was dark, but you could see the outlines. And you could see the sky. You can see the stars. You can gauge where you're at and where you're going based on these things. So I was up towards the front of the pack because everybody else was speaking Swiss German, yeah? I didn't understand them, so I was up in front. And then, oh, geez, I thought that was somebody standing there. And I was like, Jesus, I really thought there was somebody just standing there, and I thought I was going to bump into them. I thought that was one of the girls that had the horses. Yeah, I honestly thought I was going to bump into her, so I was ready to grab her and say, I'm sorry, to make sure she doesn't fall. When I went to grab, there was nothing there. I mean, there's just space, yeah? So there was a shadow in front of us, but nobody was there. And we were in the middle of the road, so it couldn't be a tree, yeah? So it was, I saw it, there was something there. I didn't get scared. I saw it, but it didn't give me a, you know, get the hell out of here, kind of thing. You know, trying to swing at it and there was something there, but it didn't feel threatening. Yeah, and I just thought, wow, it's really interesting. I always thought if I ever saw something like this, I'd be, run screaming and, try to find 2 sticks to make a crucifix and start saying the Lord's Prayer. And doing a seminar on Lakota spirituality, but he goes Christian when he freaks out. And that wouldn't have been too good, yeah. Oh my. Of course there's things out there, yeah, and they're all around us. They are just there. And what are they? It just depends, yeah. People want to say, oh, it's your guardian angel, oh, it's your protective spirit, it's your spirit guide, and all these kind of things. But no, it's not. And Lakota Star Knowledge talks about, in the creation story, there's this organization called Wakantanka. And today's Indians, they translate that to mean God, the Christian God. But it's not. That's not what it means. See, the reason why is because in the early days of the reservation, we went through a Christianization process. The reason why I call it a brainwashing thing is because in the beginning of the reservation, it was like a prison. We were not allowed to leave. We were not allowed to have any kind of weapons. And this meant that we couldn't hunt. And we could only eat food that the government gave to us, and they didn't always give us food, so they kept us starving. Whenever they did bring us food, it was really unhealthy food, but we had no choice to eat it. And at the same time, our ceremonies were declared illegal, and our language was declared illegal too, so we couldn't do these things. So we're hit physically, and we're hit emotionally and spiritually. And those are 3 of the 4 parts of the self. The 4th part is the mind. But these 3 things got hit really hard. And as a result, remember I said we couldn't leave the reservation in those days, so it resulted in us becoming incredibly weak-minded. At the same time, Washington, D.C. makes a federal law that splits up all reservations into small pieces of land, and every family is given a piece of land and told to be farmers. It failed horribly, because not all land is farmland. And the other thing it did is it broke up that community spirit, that community way of thinking and living, and people started to think more of their own family because that's all they saw. So they didn't see their relatives until the priests came, and they saw this, and then they took advantage of the situation. We were in the condition to be brainwashed. We're ready for it now because we're weak-minded. We're deprived of healthy food. We're deprived of our spirituality. We're deprived of our ceremonies. And we're deprived emotionally because we're not supposed to speak our languages. And so the priests learned our ways and said that our ways conflict with the Bible, so that means our ways come from the devil. And in our weak minds, we began to accept it. Then they gave us an opportunity to see one another once a week at church. So Indians looked forward to going to church. And in our weak minds, we started to accept what the priests were saying. The result is today, hardly anybody can speak their language. And what little culture they know, it's Christian influence. It's Christian tainted. So words like Wakantranka lost their meaning. Wakantranka, there's more than one, and it's not about which one is good and bad. No, not at all. They just do different things, but they're organizations. And the Christian priests changed that to mean God. So today, Lakota people will say, well, Wakantranka is the creator, it's God. But it's not. This is how that happened. That's how we lost the original definition to a lot of things. So, when the Wakantranka organization was organizing, because it has a beginning. Yeah? In the beginning, there's just a few members, and then that grows. Then the second Wakantranka forms, and then on and on and on and on. Okay. So, during this early times, the members, they have a leader. Every group has a leader. Every Wakantranka organization has a leader. At a certain stage, the leaders told their members, now you can create special beings. And it's during that time period that these beings were created. And that night that I ran into this thing, that was one of them. Because sometimes they're just there. Just like we do. We walk down the street because we're going from here to there. We're coming home from work. We're going to shop. We're going to the post office or whatever. Or sometimes we're just out taking a walk. These things do the same thing too. Maybe they're just out for a stroll. This thing probably saw us and I was like, oh, what do I do? What do I do? And so it probably stood still to not scare us. Do you see what I'm saying? See, this is how we look at things. Whereas other people would say, oh, I ran into an angel. Oh, I ran into... this means I'm supposed to be a shaman. People overdo it, yeah? But all that time is that maybe this thing was just out for a walk. To read more about Lakota Star Knowledge spirituality, you can read my book called Wichocha Otechike. You can see the book cover on the right side of this screen. This book contains the information to what I talk about on my Lakota spirituality videos. To purchase this book, please click below where it says Show More. Clicking on that link will open up the description below, and there you will see a link called To Purchase My Books. As you will see, it's an eBay link. Click on that eBay link, and there you will see the information to get this book. To learn more about speaking the Lakota language, you can read my book called Chante Etanha Ooglake, Speaking from the Heart. You can see the book cover on the right side of this screen. This book contains the information to what I talk about on my Lakota language mini lesson videos. To purchase this book, please click below where it says Show More. Clicking that link will open up the description below, and there you will see a link called To Purchase My Books. As you will see, it's an eBay link. Click on that eBay link, and there you will see the information to get this book. Lila Pilamayelo. Thank you very much.